everyone, my name is Chloe, and today I'm here to talk about my February anticipated releases. So as always, this is a very big list, and as always, this is the most recent information I have on release dates. Some of these are independently published, some of them are Kindle-only versions, and then some are traditionally published on the big Tuesdays of the month. And so the dates might be a little weird, but like I said, it could be an American version after the UK, it could be a Kindle edition, but to my knowledge, these are the release dates for all of these books. So let's just go ahead and get into it. So February 1st, we have Secrets Between the Shelves by Cynthia Hickey, Linda Batten Johnson, Teresa Ives Lilly, and Marilyn Turk. So this is 4 cozy mysteries, all set about like death in bookshops. And so murder in bookshops sounds really fun to me. I don't love cozies, but maybe if it's a shorter, like I'm assuming they're kind of novellas, maybe if that length will work for me. We'll see. Then February 2nd or 3rd, the Paris Bookshop for the Brokenhearted. So this is about a woman. She lost her job. She lives with her parents and daughter, I think, in Paris. And she gets a job in this like somewhat magical bookstore, maybe. It's like a bookstore, cafe, cocktail bar. And she meets a grumpy guy that I think is the bartender or something. And I think it's their romance, but also her experience in this bookstore. I'm guessing it's going to be a little bit of magical realism. Not overly magical, definitely not fantasy. Then we have February 4th. So this is a Tuesday, which is a big day. So we've got A Killing Cold by Kate Alice Marshall. So I don't think I've read anything by Kate Alice Marshall, but this is about a woman who is invited to her wealthy fiance's family retreat, and she realizes that they're hiding a bunch of secrets. And she has been there before. She finds like a picture of herself as a kid at this estate. So what the heck? That sounds weird. Then Guilty Until Innocent by Robert Whitlow. This is about a cold case that gets reopened, and 2 lawyers have to work together to prove a man's innocent, despite the fact that like everything is stacked against him. He was put in jail for like 25 years wrongfully, and yet he's not really sure that he wants to get out because he has started like a whole ministry in jail, and so he's ministering to these people. And I don't know, like it's interesting. These 2 lawyers are fighting for him, and I don't know if he is fighting for himself. It's a Christian fiction mystery. Then The Meadowbrook Murders by Jessica Goodman. So this is a YA thriller set in a New England boarding school. I love boarding school books. In fact, I blame Spying on Miss Mueller by Eve Bunting. It is a book that I read and loved as a middle grade kid, and it got me into the genre so much. But this is 2 best friends. They plan to like live up their senior year, but then one of them dies with her boyfriend, and the surviving one realizes her friend had a lot of secrets. I don't know what about the boyfriend, but like I said, the setting got this one for me. Then we have the Crime Brulee Bake Off by Rebecca Connolly. So I just said I'm not loving cozies. I don't love cozies. However, thrillers are just kind of getting in my brain lately and not doing good things for me. So I'm wanting to veer more towards the cozy side. This is an unexpected romance, a haunting mystery, pastries to die for. And it says the Great British Baking Show meets a cozy mystery with a contemporary romance and a Regency era twist. That sounds like a lot. Then we have The Many Futures of Maddy Hart by Laura Pearson. So this is about a woman who every time a relationship gets semi-serious, she is able to like have this brief flash forward 10 years and see where it ends up. And she's not really like where it would end up if they stay together. And she's not really loving any of it. And then she meets Oliver and it's perfect. But for some reason, for them to stay together, she has to like break his heart. So it's kind of, what do you do in the short term to get the long term, or do you just keep on keeping on? Then we have The Sooner You Forget by Christopher Bensinger. This is an American soldier in World War II trying to survive a Jewish labor camp, even though he wasn't Jewish, and he was trying to find liberation. Again, I love World War II stories, especially like an American soldier in World War II. I just want to know more. Then we have The Pianist Wife by Soraya M. Lane. This takes place in Berlin in 1944, so another World War II. This is about 2 best friends. One has a secret that puts them in danger unless she marries a pianist. So it's her relationship with the pianist. I think they develop a love and keep each other safe as they kind of work together to fight the Nazis. Then we have The First Husband by Elizabeth Carpenter. It says, I thought my first husband was dead, but when I got a letter with his name on it just days before my wedding, it will tear apart my new perfect life. So, first husband, not dead. Can't really marry the second guy, I'm guessing. Then we have Band of Sisters by Philippe Maniel. This is about Madeline I don't know, a French army doctor. I know she's well known. I don't know how to say her name, but and a group of Red Cross nurses that are known as the Blue oh my goodness gracious, the Blue Squadron. So it's told in letters, diaries, interviews written by Madeline's niece, and they went on missions to France, I think, to rescue soldiers. Maybe, or they were rescuing French people from Germany and Poland. I don't know. It sounds really interesting. I love hearing about the women's role in the war, because you don't hear that very much. So I'm intrigued, even though I clearly know nothing. Next is It's Getting Hot in Here by Jane Costello. So this is a middle-aged woman facing menopause. I think she is like in the PTA. She's a TV exec. She's dealing with divorce, motherhood, and potentially new romance. I love those kind of later in life funny things, and so I think it's going to be great. Then we have Ready As You Are, Discovering a Life of Abundance When You Feel Inadequate, Uncertain, and Disqualified by Brittany Mayer and Cassandra Spear. So, enough said, I think that could be applicable. Then we have Last Twilight in Paris by Pam Jenoff. Pam Jenoff is a pretty prolific historical fiction author. And this is about a Parisian department store, a mysterious necklace, and a woman's quest to unlock a decade-old mystery. It's a novel of love and survival. And again, I'm interested. I read The Woman with the Blue Star, maybe, by Pam Jenoff, and really liked it. I've read a couple of her things and really liked it, so I'm interested to try anything. Then we have The Love Lyric by Christina Forrest. So this is number 3 in a series, but I think it's like sisters. So I haven't read the first 2, and I would be fine with jumping in. Let me know if I couldn't. But this is about a young widow, and she's a mom, and she meets an R&B singer. I think this is a wholesome series. I don't think it's Christian or anything, but I think it's like a wholesome, sweet series, and so I'm excited. Then we have Let Us March On by Shara Moon. So this is about a devoted wife, a White House maid, and a reluctant activist. A stirring novel inspired by the life of an unsung heroine and real-life crusader, Lizzie McDuffie, who was a maid in FDR's White House, and she was involved in the Civil Rights Movement. Again, an era in historical fiction that I don't read enough of. Then we have The Mulligan Curse by Diane Barnes. So this is about a woman. It says a woman has 2 problems, her wisdom teeth and everything else. Her husband is more interested in golf. Her daughter just moved overseas, and she's lonely, and she's afraid that if she gets her wisdom teeth out, the last 30 years of her memory will just be wiped. And come to find out, she's right. So she gets her wisdom teeth out. The last 30 years, she gets a chance to do it all again. So she goes from 54 to 24. And I don't know. That sounds really interesting. It would be interesting to know at what point she became a mother. So I don't know. There's that. Then we have The Snowbirds by Christina Clancy. My parents are snowbirds, and I just think it's funny. I laugh because I'm envious. But this is Marriage in Trouble. They've been married 30 years, and they go to this condo community in Palm Springs or somewhere for the winter, and the husband goes missing. And so she's wondering, did he finally just up and leave, or did something happen to him? Then we have How to Draw a Secret by Cindy Chang. So this is an autobiographical middle grade graphic novel about a Taiwanese girl who has to draw what family means to her or something like that. And her parents are secretly separated, and there's other family secrets. And so I think what family means to her is probably a little complicated. Then we have The Mother Next Door by Andrew Dunlop and Mike Weber. So this is a nonfiction about Munchausen by proxy, which is just a condition that fascinates me. It is a condition in which a mother or a caregiver often it fakes illness of the people they're taking care of, so she or he or whatever can get attention. So this is told from the perspective of a Seattle novelist whose family was torn apart by Munchausen by proxy, a detective who has persecuted many cases, and it talks about 3 different women who all were suffering from this. Then we have A 40-Year Kiss by Nicholas Butler. And this is about a couple that was married for 4 years. And then 40 years later, they have a second chance. Sounds interesting. Then we have Memorial Days by Geraldine Brooks. This is a memoir about a woman who is researching the way so that like different cultures grieve after her husband died. And I think that's so interesting. Just the process of grief. And yeah, I don't know. We had a little bit more grief in this last year than I anticipated. And just thinking about the way that we handle it and do and don't is something that's really interesting to me. Then we have The Radio Hour by Victoria Perman. So this says it's in the golden years of radio broadcasting in post-war Australia. So it's 1956-ish, celebrating the extraordinary unseen women who wrote the radio plays that held the nation captive. So entertainment on radio. I think it's so fun to like just think about our parents' generation and how much we've seen in my generation and how much we've seen and how much things have progressed. And I love reading about the 50s. Then we have, let's see, All Better Now by Neil Shusterman. So I don't love Neil Shusterman. Of course, I've read Scythe and it was okay. But this is about, it's a young adult thriller about a world where happiness becomes contagious and the teens caught in the conspiracy by the powers that be to bring back discontent. That sounds really like not like anything I've ever read. Might be a little above my head, but a YA I think I could handle. Then we have February 5th, The Perfect Mother by Claire Allen. So this is about a woman who works in fertility and she's like trying to help this lady have a baby. And she gets pregnant and the woman won't go away. And the woman's like, if I can't have a baby, neither can you. Sinister. Then we have The Girl Who Saved Them by S.E. Rutledge. This is about a woman who gets caught smuggling soldiers out of Paris and her sister had some sort of warnings for her, so she's trying to like respect her sister and also do what she's trying to do. Then we have February 6th, His Other Life by Anna E. Collins. So it says, the woman's name blurs as tears spring in my eyes. I can't believe my husband would betray me like this. But now he's gone. She may be the only way to learn the truth about how he died. Okay. February 7th, While My Baby Sleeps by Natalie Simmons. This is a sleep-deprived mom and her neighbor that she really does not like winds up dead. And so did she do it? I don't love that trope. I don't honestly love it. As a sleep-deprived, somewhat newly postpartum mother, I don't like the idea that we can like be psychotic because we're tired. But I get it, I guess. I don't have like blackouts of time, but I do definitely like for example, I put something away yesterday, could not remember where I put it. And so there's definitely things like that where it's like, okay, I get it, but like psychosis is a little much. Then we have Aster Hill by Sydney Madison. So it says for fans of Magnolia Parks, Gossip Girl, and One Tree Hill. So I've not read Magnolia Parks. I've heard it is a little more toxic than I want to read, but I love Gossip Girl and One Tree Hill. So this is a basketball star and a newspaper editor. Sometimes I just need a good YA. Then we have Age to Perfection by Nilüfer Lamakan. This says it's Bridget Jones, but with a 60-year-old main character. Sign me up. Then we have The Secret Life of Beatrice Albright by Brooke Harris. So this is a very sunshiny lady. She gets left with her 4-year-old daughter and no home. So she shelters in the hospital where I think she works. And she meets a guy, an old guy, and they make friends. And I love that, like, grouchy old guy, sunshiny middle-aged girl, and it sounds fun. Then on February 10th, we have The Uninvited Guest by Ruby Speechley. So this is someone crashes her bachelorette party and brings up a dark past, but she may be her only solace. So she can't trust her fiance. So they're having this bachelorette party. Some outsider maybe comes in and kind of ruins it, but for some reason that might be her only like solace and safe spot. It says for fans of Sherry LaPena, Alice Feeney, and Lisa Jewell. Alice Feeney is not my favorite because she has a lot of unreliable narrators, which I don't love, but Sherry LaPena and Lisa Jewell I really like. Then we have February 11th, which is another Tuesday. So we've got 3 Days in June by Ann Tyler. So Ann Tyler, I've read one book, and I think she's a little more literary than I like. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think I've only read one, though. This is about the days leading up to her daughter's wedding, and I am fascinated by that topic, but her ex shows up, and her new in-laws are kind of snubbing her, and she's trying to find out, I think, secrets about her daughter's new husband, or her daughter finds out a secret or something. I don't know. I just think the whole lead up to a wedding, especially as the mother of the bride, I am really interested how that will play out. Then we have We All Live Here by Jojo Moyes. Jojo Moyes is that boyfriend that won't go away. There's been a lot of breakups between her and I, but she keeps coming back. I keep giving her a shot. And this one is about a woman's life who is falling apart, and then her estranged biological dad shows up and, teaches her about life, I guess. But I would assume forgiveness is a big theme, and I don't know, you guys. I don't know. Why am I always so intrigued by her? I really have liked some and really disliked some. So I'm not sure what my relationship status with her is, but we'll see. Then we have Nothing Ever Happens Here by Serafina Nova Glass. So this is a new relationship. I've recently read one or two of hers and really liked it. So this is about a woman that survives an attack of some sort. And like a year later, after a lot of therapy and all that, she's feeling more safe. And then she starts getting similar notes to what her attacker left her. It's set in a snowy Minnesota town, and accidents start happening for all those in her life. So I have a feeling this is going to be high stakes, high suspense. Then we have The Perfect Rom-Com by Melissa Ferguson. So she wrote maybe The Dating Charade or something. I have it on my shelf. I've heard mixed things. This one is about a ghostwriter, and she's asked to ghostwrite for a really difficult author, difficult personality-wise. She says yes if the literary agent will help her publish her own work. And so, her ghostwriting is super successful, and like that book takes off, and so the agent won't really let her go. I think it's going to be a romance, but I don't know. Then we have, I would guess by The Perfect Rom-Com, that would be a romance. Anyway, then we have Dollhouse Academy by Margarita Montemore. So I love Margarita Montemore. She wrote Una Out of Order and Acts of Violet, both of which were very different but very good. And this one is a novel about two best friends and aspiring actresses who join the Dollhouse Academy. And that's where stars are made and dangerous secrets are hidden. So Una Out of Order is very women's fiction about a woman who lives her life out of order. Acts of Violet is about a disappearing female magician. And so not really thrillery, but this one definitely sounds thrillery. Then we have First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. So this is the start of a new series about a hopeless romantic and a jaded romance radio show host. So it's cozy and says Sleepless in Seattle vibes. Sleepless in Seattle is one of my all-time favorite movies. So that's really all I need. I think, does B.K. Borison do steamy? You guys let me know. I have not read any of the Love Light Farm series, so I'm not sure. Then we have The Unforgetting by Bonnie Traymore. So this is about a friend or a girl who her friend died in a college party accident. And one of the other girls was like, hey, let's cover this up, whatever. Let's do some stuff before we call it in. So they did. And now our main character is suffering from a lot of PTSD symptoms. And she doesn't remember much for that night. And she's wondering if her body remembers more than she does and if she was maybe involved. Then we have Once You Were Mine by Elizabeth Langston. So it says a genealogy search reveals heart-rending connections between friends as it brings to light one woman's traumatic past as a teenage mother in the 60s. So this is about a girl who was sent to a maternity home, a home for teenage mothers in the 60s. And then present day, it's a woman trying to help her mother discover her genealogy. And I think her mom was one of the abandoned babies. I don't know. Then we have 37 Questions by June Kay. This looks so good. So this is a woman who's in corporate America and whatever. A tornado comes, and for some reason this British actor shows up at her door, and together they hunker down in this tornado warning and spend the night going through magazine quizzes, which is that even a thing anymore? I don't know. But they really get to know each other through presumably 37 questions. Now, as someone who lives in the Midwest and has experienced a tornado or two, they go pretty fast. So the whole being hunkered down and having a whole evening together doesn't really make sense, but hopefully the plot explains it a little better. Then we have Away by Megan E. Freeman. So she wrote Alone, which is a middle grade book told in verse about society, it's Colorado, and this girl tries to go to a sleepover with her friends. They all are lying about where they are because they want to do other things and be in her grandma's abandoned condo. And so none of her friends show up because they get sick. So she is in this not abandoned, but in this condo by herself, and everybody disappears. Some sort of mass exodus. Everybody left, and she's the only one that has to survive. And so now this next one, Away, is a companion, and that is told from a bunch of different POVs trying to figure out what happened, because we kind of know why everyone fled, but we don't know a ton. And so I'm hoping this will provide more insight. Again, it's told in verse, it's a middle grade, and it's multiple perspectives, so I don't know. We'll see. Then Celebrity Crush by Christy Swift. So this is a romance writer's wildest dreams, the bestseller list, a movie deal, and a date with the real-life inspiration for her Hollywood hero. All are within her grasp if only she can hold it all together. So he's in an adaptation of her book, and I don't know how she's somehow involved, and the fake chemistry turns real. Then we have Change of Heart by Fallon Ballard. So this is about a lawyer who has no time for love, and then she gets transported into a Hallmark town, and she has to do 3 tasks, including find love, in this like very Hallmark Stars Hollow-esque town. And I think that's an interesting twist. Then we have Get Lost With You by Sophie Sullivan. So this is a campy second chance romance. So this is about a single mom who's running a lodge with her brother, and then a male chef that's just coming back into town. I think they have history together, and they have to work together for like the grand opening. So sounds cute. Then we have The Queens of Crime by Marie Benedict. So this is a historical fiction in the 1930s about 5 female authors working together in a male-dominated world to solve a mystery. And it's inspired by a true story in Nancy Sayers' life. And it involves, or Dorothy Sayers, I'm sorry. And it involves Agatha Christie. She's one of the authors. And I just think it would be fun to, like, especially Agatha Christie seems like she was such a mystery in and of herself. It would be a fun fictionalization of their lives. Then we have Read Yourself Happy, How to Use Books to Ease Your Anxiety by Daisy Buchanan. Sign me up. I think I do it, but maybe not in the healthiest way, so we'll see. February 12th, The Promise She Made by Julie Hartley. So this is in York in 1942. A woman returns home to try to keep her sister safe during the war, and she's too late, and her sister has been taken, she thinks, and then she gets a note saying her sister's still alive. So she's on a quest to find her sister. Then we have February 13th, The Rewrite by Lizzie Blackburn. So this is about a writer who gets dumped by a reality star, and I think he's like on the up and up, up and coming. Her career is struggling, and she's given a chance to ghostwrite his memoir. I don't know. That would be weird. Then we have February 17th, Good Bad Mother by Anya Mora. This says, when we moved to the exclusive Cutter's Island, my life changes overnight. Dressed like the perfect wife, pushing my baby down the street in her pink stroller, I look up and smile at the security cameras because I know they're watching, and for now I need to play my part. I don't know what that's about. Then Happily Ever After by Jane Lovering. So this is about a book lover who gets a job at Templewood Hall working for Lady Daw and her son. And she thinks she's fallen into some sort of like gothic novel. Is it a romance? Is it a mystery? She doesn't know. And so she's just trying to figure out what's going on in this manor. Then February 18th, An Overdue Match by Sarah Monson. This is about a librarian who has alopecia, and her fiance called off her wedding, and she decides to set other people up instead. So as this librarian, she's trying to set everybody up, and a tattoo artist challenges her, and he says, like, for every couple you set up, you have to go on one date with me. So he is used to being judged. I'm sure she is too. Alopecia, we know a couple people with it, and it's really an interesting thing that I've never read about. Then The Mountains Between Us by Imogen Martin. So this is about a woman going to rescue her husband during the gold rush in California, so in the 1840s. Then we have Come Fly With Me by Camille DeMaio. It's 1962, the dawn of the jet set era. Hope takes flight for 2 Pan Am stewardess, navigating an adventurous new life in a novel about love, friendship, and escape. Again, I love to read about women in kind of on the forefront of female jobs. Then The Quiet Librarian by Alan Eskin. So he wrote The Life We Bury, which I really like. And this says, after the murder of her best friend, a librarian's search for answers leads her back to her own dark secrets in this sweeping novel about a woman transformed by war, family, vengeance, and love. So I trust him. I want to try it. Then we have The Girl Most Likely To by Julie Tao, maybe? Frenemies to Lovers contemporary romance, which takes place over the place of like one night of like a reunion, I think, and it's like a high school reunion. She was voted most likely to succeed, I think. I don't know. I love reunion stories, although I have never been to a high school reunion, but maybe someday. Then Every Precious and Fragile Thing by Barbara Davis. This is about a social worker who her client dies and she goes back home to like her estranged mother because she's just kind of shaken up about it. And both women have secrets. They're trying to re-navigate their relationship. It's a trope that I love. Then Dawn of Grace by Jill Eileen Smith. This is a biblical fiction that tells the story of Mary Magdalene. Then we have Storm Warning by Elizabeth Goddard. So this is a Christian fiction about an army photographer. She works at an isolated storm watch lodge in Washington, and she gets a mysterious puzzle piece that it says that may be the key to unlocking the truth about an incident in her past. A man repeatedly saves her life, so I'm assuming there's a romance. Hopefully not cheesy. Then we have To Sicily with Love by Jennifer Probst. So this is also in a series, but I think it's okay. And Jennifer Probst, again, I'm not sure how steamy she is, but this is about a woman who learns she has a big Italian family and she never knew about it. And so she goes to Sicily for the summer. Then we have A Wedding in Low Country by I'll just have a picture up because I'm not sure how to say that name. But this is about a girl who was kicked out of the house as a teenager because she was pregnant. And now her mom died and she has to put the house on the market. And so she goes home and runs into a childhood friend. And so she's trying to work through both her feelings with her mother and this person from her past. Then February 19th, 8 Years of Lies by Lisa Hall. So this one sounds really interesting. This is one that is a Kindle-only release. And this is about a woman who gets a call from school that her husband never came to pick up her 7-year-old daughter. But earlier that day, she saw a photo saying, "Can you help me find this man?" And it's a picture of her husband and daughter. So she finds out that her husband is not who she thought. Then we have February 20th, The Lollipop Man by Daniel Sellers. So I'm not sure if I'm going to like this. This is about a young girl who was kidnapped and maybe a serial killer from many years ago. The Lollipop Man, as you will. So many years ago, I think is like the early 90s. And I was alive during that time. It's interesting that that's like historical now. Then we have The Quiet Wife by Diane Saxon. So this is about a woman who was stalked by someone as a college girl, and he did something awful. I'm not sure what. Now he's getting out of jail, and she feels like she's being watched, but nobody knows about him, and she has other secrets involved. So I am not sure if she's super innocent. Then we have February 21st, The Nanny Share by Emily Shiner. This is about 2 little girls that go missing, and it's told from the perspective of the nanny. And the moms of the 2 little girls have had kind of a falling out. She was the nanny for both of them. So did the nanny do it? Did the moms do it? Was it somebody else? We'll see. Then To Save My Daughters by Louise Guy. So this is about a woman who was arrested for killing her husband many years ago. And now she's getting out of jail, and her 2 daughters are adults, and they have differing reactions to her. One is ready to like rekindle a relationship. The other cannot forgive. So I think it's going to be a story of forgiveness. Then on February 24th, we have The Great Western Railway Girls by Jane Lark. So this is about 3 women all in different areas of the Great Western Railway during World War II. So again, women in jobs that you don't hear a lot about. Then February 25th, we have The Other March Sisters, and this gives the perspective of Meg, Beth, and Amy from Little Women, and not Jo. She is kind of intentionally left off the page, and so I am kind of obsessed with Little Women lately because I have 4 daughters, and so yeah, I love a retelling. Then we have Back After This by Linda Holmes. So I have liked Linda Holmes. I have not read all of her stuff, but this is about a podcast producer, and she agrees to host a new series about like dating, but it says, will the show jeopardize her chance at finding real love? Again, this one is one I picked up because of the author. Then When We Grow Up by Angelica Baker. So this is about 6 longtime friends who come together for a tropical vacation. It's interrupted by unexpected crisis, and they're really forced to examine how close their bonds are and if the friendship can stand the test of time. So I'm not sure what the crisis is. Maybe it involves a family member or something. I'm not sure. Then we have The Lost Passenger by Frances Quinn. So this is about the Titanic. So it's a young mother who starts a new life with her son in New York after faking their deaths in Titanic. Then Book Boyfriend by Emily Wibberley and Austin Sigmund Broca. So they are a writing duo that I have never read, but their premises always sound super good. So this is about a woman who runs into an enemy coworker at a fan event for her favorite fantasy book series, and he's swoony. Like they're kind of enemies, but he's at this fan event for this fantasy book, and he's like the perfect book boyfriend. So seeing him in a new light in more ways than one. Then Famous Last Words by Gillian McAllister. Gillian McAllister is kind of an anti anti-buzzword author. I have not loved her stuff, but this is about a woman who is about to return to work after maternity leave, and she wakes up, her husband's not there, and she gets a call that her husband's involved in a hostage situation, and her husband's the gunman. So that's not good. Then I Died for Beauty by Amanda Flower. So this, Amanda Flower is a historical fiction author, I believe. And it says, when a blaze takes both a neighbor's home and his life, Emily Dickinson and her maid Willa have a burning desire to crack the case. So this is number 3 in the Emily Dickinson mysteries. Never heard of it, but I'm intrigued. Then The Secret History of Audrey James by Heather Marshall. So this is dual timelines, 1938 Berlin and 2010 Northern England. So in the 1938 timeline, it's about a girl who's about to graduate music school, and her best friend goes into hiding in the attic in the house that she cleans for, and she gets kind of unintentionally involved in the anti-Hitler movement, not music. And then present day, a girl goes to work in a guest house and learns about an old lady who presumably is this lady. Then we have Crumble by Meredith McLaren. So this is a middle grade graphic novel. It says, a heartfelt graphic novel for fans of sheets and real friends about baking, friendship, and feeling every kind of emotion, no matter the flavor. I love middle grade graphic novels, especially foodie ones, so it sounds right up my alley. Then we have The Last American Heiresses by Stephen Greco. This says, a dazzling novel that draws readers into the ultra-glamorous lives of legendary heiresses Doris Duke and Barbara Hutton, the public rivalry that defined them, and the secret bond that sustained them both. I know nothing about that, but I want to. Then The Younger Woman by Kate Ray. So this is about empty nesters. One woman tells another woman she wishes her husband were dead. Then she realizes she probably shouldn't have said that to that woman. Her husband is hiding stuff, and it becomes like a cat and mouse chase. My goodness. Then we have Tear This Down by Barbara D. And I'm not sure what this one's about. I forgot to research it, so we'll just leave that there. Then we have I'll Have What She's Having by Chelsea Handler. Chelsea Handler's kind of crass, but she's funny, and this is a memoir. Then we have Rustler Mountain by Maisie Yates. So Maisie Yates is another one. I'm not sure on the steam level, but this is about Rustler, Oregon. People come into town for the rodeo, the historic home tour, sharpshooter stuff, very old Wild West vibe. And it's a family rivalry. So there was the site where a sheriff shot an outlaw, and now present day they're trying to make a historic event, and it's the daughter of the sheriff and the son, not son, it's many generations down of the outlaw, and there's still a family rivalry. So there's that. Then Close Your Eyes and Count to 10 by Lisa Unger. So this is about a person who, he's kind of a daredevil. He is hosting some sort of reality show on an island, and things turn sinister. I don't know. I think it's blurry lines between what's real and what's not. And Lisa Unger is an author that I have not read, but I'm really intrigued by. Then February 26th, we have Everyone is Lying by Holly Down. So it says, they say I'm lucky to be alive, but the only thing I can remember are the faces of my husband and baby. The husband and baby, they say, don't exist. Then The Woman with All the Answers by Linda Green. This is about a woman who befriends Alexa and finds out that she's actually a 65-year-old woman, and they become friends. Then February 27th, we have Pieces of Us by Eve Ainsworth. This is about a woman whose friend dies and leaves a jar of joy. So it's all these places where they had happy memories, and the friend instructs her to go from beyond. And a guy that they both were in love with keeps showing up at all the places. So a little bit of a trope that I've read before, but anyway. So that is everything that's coming out in February. Let me know which ones you are most interested in, or if there's any that I should prioritize. Again, as always, I'm not planning to actually read all of these. I wish I could, but definitely not doable. But let me know which ones you would pick, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.